How you doing? I'm Michael Bell, the voice of Duke.
Hi, this is Adrienne Palicki, Lady J from G.I. Joe.
Hey there, it's Rachel Nichols, aka Scarlet.
And if you're listening,
And you're listening to
And you are listening to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe with Greg and Jaren.
Yo, Joe!
Got my G.I. Joes, got my comic books, watching cartoon episodes. Watch me go and box, dead stop, Jaren on his toes. Watch me go and lock a whole new world you never know. On my freaking block, on my block, anything Joe's. Roll my badger into work today. Yes, sir, no, sir. I can't call this work today. I'm too clutch. Ain't no pun intended. Call me sir today. Check the prices out. My collection feeling bird today. Anything Joe. 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 Joe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe. My name is Greg Engel.
And I'm Jaren Decker.
And we'll be your host today. It's a race against time as we try to record this episode before Jaren's laptop dies. We're doing the second episode of Arise, Serpentor, Arise because we've been on a road to watch the animated movie, and I didn't feel like that would be fair to Jaren if he didn't know one of the pivotal characters, which is Serpentor. So we are watching the animated series, so Jaren has a better understanding of the second Cobra leader. Let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. I just wanted to say up front that I have really enjoyed watching these cartoons a lot more than just about anything else we've talked about in a while. Maybe it's because it forces me to focus on the episode. Sometimes I have them on in the background. I don't really pay a lot of attention, but these I'm like scrutinizing details. But this has been a lot of fun for me. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I do. It's certainly a lot less work than the cartoon or the comic book episodes. So with that in mind, let's fire up Arise, Serpentor, Arise Part 2. I know we're going to be talking about this intro forever, but one of the things we didn't talk about last time is this boat that the Joes come off on. We've really started to make a nice little checklist of vehicles that we've seen that we never got toys of, and I think this is a great example of one. I don't remember seeing this in any of the other cartoons, although maybe they are in the background somewhere. I'd love to know more information on who designed this, like all this stuff that just got lost in the wayside. Was it ever intended to be anything other than just like background filler? I don't know, but I think it's very cool.
Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
There's that Cobra battle bunker I was talking about in the last episode, which you never see anywhere.
It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always
They
there.
caught some strange gold man.
Over land and air. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is there.
It's weird that this Cobra base had a little like access tunnel at the bottom, but obviously that was useless because they all scaled the Cobra Terradrome. So maybe, maybe put a bigger fence up next time. These cartoons really do like lean into Alpine. It seems like every episode there's something that's got to be climbed on, and Alpine's like, hey, that's actually my specialty. They don't. In fact, they're never like a fire. Somebody called barbecue. Like they never give anybody else the service.
New weapon, the battle android troopers. But the timely arrival of Sergeant Slaughter gave General Hawk the diversion he needed to turn the tide. Meanwhile, back at the Terradrome, Destro and Dr. Mindbender plotted to replace Cobra Commander with a new leader, the Cobra Emperor, created from the DNA of long-dead conquerors.
Some not pictured here.
Inspiration given to Dr. Mindbender in a dream.
I had a dream of a Christmas tree made from the DNA of the finest leaders of the world. That was a message pack. We learned that last episode. I would have never been able to name that, but it's for delivering messages and gold.
Sergeant Slaughter in his deadly thunder machine. And now today's chapter of Arise, Serpentor.
All right, so sorry. I don't know why I apologize every time I have to pause it. It's just a necessary benefit of talking about this without talking over top of the episode itself. So these three Joes, Sergeant Slaughter, Lowlight, and Beachhead, have come to a Dreadnok audition for new Dreadnoks, and they are trying to learn more information about why Cobra is paying Zartan and the Dreadnoks to do work for them. And they kind of crash the auditions, and they've become part of the auditions because they're telling them if you eliminate these three Joes, you'll be an official Dreadnok. Of course, these guys don't know that no Dreadnok has ever killed is one G.I. Joe, period, ever, as far as I'm aware. So, pretty lofty goal. Story by Buzz Dixon, teleplay by Ron Friedman.
What are you waiting for, you twit? The assurance that I am now a Dreadnok officially. I swear.
Thrasher seems like one of those guys that's faking an accent, and when you get him real drunk, he's actually like, he sounds like he's from Alabama. Yes, through a brick wall. Get it, Sarge. Start to comprehend that Sarge's strength knows no bounds. He did leave his hat behind, which is a real party foul. That's an Indiana Jones.
Really expecting
You gotta go back to your hat. Thrasher just takes their whole house down. I'm confident that that is, in fact, the Dreadnok place where they slept at one point.
They ain't gonna be telling their grandkids about this one.
Come along, Thrasher.
Can't believe all these Dreadnoks. Nobody's gonna take Sarge's hat and be like, yeah, that's perfect. You guys are an amalgamation of fashion trends.
Zarana almost destroyed Dr. Mindbender's secret message, but there's enough left to tell us Cobra's gonna be...
It is funny watching this after reading Cobra Commander issue 2. Like, I mean, it's not fully, like, but there's little things I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah, dude, just wait. When we get to the movie, it's all gonna start to click. You're gonna, because the movie is like a one-off. You do not really see a lot of the mythology from the movie bleed over. The Cobra Commander comic is an extremely rare exception because it's such a trepidatious wire to walk on with the fandom. People feel very strongly pro or con, the movie. And I understand why, but that, I'm the type of guy that tries to fold it all in. I like something about every aspect of it, and the movie has really grown on me over the years. We will talk at great length about it when we get to the movie, but yeah, this stuff again, there's a reason we are watching this. Like, I feel like it was mandatory to watch this before the movie because there's so much critical info about Serpentor and his origin. It's it's important to learn.
The tomb of Napoleon in Paris, the tomb of General Xanathamon Toth in Egypt, even the crypt of Vlad Tepes, better known as Count Dracula. Then there are the tombs of Sun Tzu, the great Chinese strategist, Genghis Khan, Montezuma, Alexander the Great, Ivan the Terrible. The list is incomplete, so they could have targeted other tombs as well. The question is... Instead of me trying to break down the small inconsistencies in this plan, I feel like it would be better to just kind of lump them all in at once. There are a lot of historical gravesites mentioned here that are completely inaccurate. I mean, maybe time has passed and revealed more knowledge than we had back then, but... They've got bodies that were never found listed here. They've got the tombs of Sun Tzu, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Montezuma. Those are all fairly inaccurate. Montezuma's body was supposed to have been destroyed by the Spanish to prevent the Aztecs from building him a memorial. Vlad Tepes is buried in a monastery near Bucharest, not in Transylvania. That's an obvious, they even call him Dracula there. So I get that they're not leaning into the historical aspect of it. Ivan the Terrible's tomb is shown in northern Siberia, but his remains are in a cathedral in Moscow. So lots of stuff like that. They go for Napoleon's body, which is supposedly buried inside several coffins, each one, one's supposed to be sealed with lead. And you'll see when they get there that it's just one coffin. So they didn't do a lot. Again, obviously, yes, A, children's cartoon, who cares? And B, no internet. So I get that they probably weren't pulling encyclopedias off the thing to make sure this children's show was accurate. But for you, adults out there, just so we're all on the same page, don't go looking for these bodies where they say they are because they're not there. Why? Anything worth stealing would have been ripped off centuries ago.
I don't know what Cobra's after in those tombs, but I do know if we do nothing, we'll surely pay for it. So until we learn what's at the bottom of this, we're going to split our forces and station a counter.
Good strategy. We don't know what they're doing, but we are going to stop them from doing it.
They're just planning on paying taxes for the first one.
Pretty standard. Oh, well, it's not turn the takes around.
I am the mayor of Paris.
At what point does a caricature cross over into insulting the poor people of France?
I love the idea that the actual mayor is the one that goes out and stops them. Like,
came out the street. Hey, Mayor, there's a bunch of tanks going around downtown. What? A sacre bleu! Get Ratatouille! We have to stop him! Also, big props. You know, I have to think in this screenshot you can see Gung Ho is next in line, minus his hat. But I would have to assume if Gung Ho was first in line, he would have squished this man like a bug immediately.
That's why he's second. He did it once before.
That's right. Boom! Tank falls apart. Holy crap! It's Zartan in his... No, I'm just kidding.
That is not my concern, Monsieur General.
I love the image of sci-fi.
I'd have you know this very expensive toy retails for $19.99 at your local Kmart. Buy 5 of them so you can reenact this famous standing up to the mayor of France.
Trampling on the sovereignty of our allies.
We went from sci-fi was in a tank to on a building. Like there's been some downtime here. Sci-fi's got his real cool sat phone and his real cool binocular camera thing. He's like, I'm science fiction. This is science fiction. Don't even try to buy it in a store.
Post, General Hawk.
I love sci-fi.
What about the other Joes?
Me too.
We're doing just fine,
All right, here's another classic. This is another classic. We got multiple things happening. We're not going to just focus on any one thing too much at a time. Good thing they didn't name these episodes, because if the previous 5-parter was any indicator, this episode would be called something like Tomb of Napoleon, but just in the last 3 minutes of the episode. So we got some snowcats rolling in. There's Snow Job. There's Duke.
Ivan the Terrible's tomb against Cobra.
The Soviet Union is pleased to get G.I. Joe help.
I'll be happy to trade with you, Duke. We're chopping our way through the Yucatan, the world's meanest salad. We're about
an hour's march. You guys couldn't drop any closer to that?
No. We want to be on this side of the forest. We're not at the door.
We just gotta show you guys how incredibly tough we are.
Rest in place, locked up tighter than a... Uh-oh, trouble.
So these guys are just guarding it.
I'm just a helpless lady.
Help me.
Ma'am, what's the problem?
My family. My father, mother, and little sister.
They're totally lame.
We were attacked by Cobra. Will you help us, please?
You just sit tight, lady. We're gonna stomp a whole mess of serpent for you.
Okay. Wow, that did instill faith in me. Hey, here's a great idea, Dusty. Listen, I know you're not a high-ranking person in this Legion, but if somebody comes to you and says, hey, Cobra's squashing my family, can you go kill him? Yes, obviously the initiative there would be, yes, I will help you, but maybe, just maybe, leave one person behind to the tomb that you were delegated to guard and have now completely abandoned. So, you didn't even tell this woman to be like, hey, can you make sure none of the Cobras come into this tomb? He was just like, she seems legit. I'm sure she'll be really grateful when I get back.
Sentimental fool.
Also, I love that she's like, it's Cobra that's attacking us. The ones you fight, those guys.
You think if you found a tomb of any of the people listed here, they would not have even done so much as put a fence up around it? Like, there's not even a sign that says, hey, don't steal the great emperor's dead stuff. Like,
if we've
no
learned,
photo ops.
If we've learned anything from like the Dark Ages and the Catholic Church, the remains would have been stolen a long time ago and divvied up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you'd be lucky to find an empty Whopper wrapper to get a DNA listing off of. That stuff would be up on eBay so fast.
Where's Cobra?
I know this is supposed to be a recording. We just saw a very subtle... You can see this tape recorder that's on her belt. So she's... I guess because she has short-term memory loss, she can't remember the instructions to get into the tomb, so she has a tape with Dr. Mindbender's voice. However, in the audio here, they've layered it so it sounds like she's remembering what he says, which I think is very funny.
Enter the tomb, Zarana. You will need to slide back the stone door leading to the inner crypt. It is important to watch out for booby traps.
Now you tell me.
It's really your own fault for not listening to the whole thing before you went in. Wait a minute. There was just a tomahawk in the air, but this is clearly lift ticket in the thing on the not the driver's seat, but the gunner on the Havoc. And there's cross country. He's what? You guys are both vehicle drivers, and neither one of you are driving your vehicles. I find that to be disproportionately unacceptable.
Nothing.
Oh, he could be out of his. Okay, I'll that you get a pass.
They sure didn't leave no tracks.
Toth's tomb is one of the least spoiled in the Valley of the Kings.
Mindbender, you bloody dingo!
You may also notice the spiked stone ceiling, which finishes off victims trapped by
Don't bother looking around at all for any of these traps. They're extremely easy to spot.
Okay, hold on. That is a drop down, but there's a giant sarcophagus. So you would think if it drops down, at worst it's gonna get the sarcophagus, right?
Right, just get lower
Just
than the sarcophagus.
duck.
Unless it's... Yeah, the other option would be that it's so strong, it would crush the sarcophagus, which would be, like, pointless, right? They're like, we build a security measure so strong we'll destroy our own work if we look at it too strong.
Well, if it's killed other people in the past, like, she would have walked in and be like, oh, it's destroyed. Also, there's a bunch of bodies. I don't know which one you need, so... Turn around.
Here's that, we talked about this in the last episode, but here's this famous shot of Cross Country's belt buckle, which I can actually believe is the foreign animators probably being like, what the hell is this flag? just draw an X and call it a day.
We messed up.
Yeah, we messed up. Don't tell Hawk it was me. Oh, it burns! Wow, this thing can really move. Just not worried about the spikes at all anymore. Whoa, it just completely absorbed the whole thing. Oh, wow. Pretty foolproof. Oh, that's basically what I expected. The ratio of Cobra vehicles that can transform and have other vehicles inside them is off the charts. If the world domination aspect of it doesn't pan out, you guys should go to General Motors, because I think you can get some pretty solid stuff. Who was driving? Okay, I was like, who's the driver? He's sitting inside there the whole time.
Gotta be warm.
Wow, these vehicles are really handling some aggressive terrain. Okay. Anybody want to take a guess on what I think is wrong with that? The fact that the guns and the Thunder Machine are clearly mounted straight forward beside one another, and it looks like they just took them out. I guess Zorana could have done that with their gun, but it made it look like the Thunder Machine barrels just more like... Pretty shoddy security on this dam. If you thought that tomb was unguarded, check this out, everybody. Swim day in the desert.
I'm not a geographical expert, but I feel like if there's water, normally there's things that are grown next to the water. It doesn't go
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a cursory Google search of how much water is in the desert would just respond like a laughing emoji, like stop using the internet and then go back to school, Greg. That was also a really quick resolution. I know they have a lot of places to be and not a lot of time to do it, but they basically were like, we win. See ya. One of the things we talked about is, first Ripcord looks very weird here, but I know it's a fast shot. Gung Ho got his hat back, good on you. Ripcord's here. There's Airtight without his helmet. We talk about this a lot, but this is maybe the most known face that we did not get a face of in the vintage line. Airtight's hairline specifically is so I can't imagine him in any other way. This is how I've always imagined Airtight without his helmet, because we didn't get an Airtight without a helmet for a long time, and even the modern one has got like a thing he wears around this part of it. I'd love to see that head released for vintage for modern figures, because he's so often seen without his helmet on in the cartoon that you just start to accept it after a while.
Dream, what's going on out there?
We got a bad situation here, General.
Oh, they float. That helped.
Don't see any.
Oh, we got something to put on the vehicle list that didn't get made. Here's a Cobra sub, I'm assuming, or maybe just a small underwater transport. It looks like hard to gauge the size on this. You would think maybe one person is up front in this canopy, and then they've got these little like pontoons for floating. Not real sure. I guess it has to be a sub because this looks like the what do they call the telescope?
Periscope.
This is maybe one of the vehicles I've always glanced over, but it looks very sharp, honestly. There's a whole untapped market for Super 7 here.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, it's real
huge.
big. Just cancel that. It's comic book hiss big. You don't know how many people you can fit inside it.
It's Cobra, all right. Get in position.
What gave it away? They got flags on everything.
Don't give them twins an inch of room. Gotta keep them snakes out of Bonaparte's tomb.
Ah, good one.
Give us air cover at once.
The radio only works with one person talking. I didn't get any of that. Wow, that is a low flying. And a sharp turning.
There's just a regular gun to take down that
yeah.
plane.
Shoot them with your small arms fire.
Just punch it. Sci-fi,
yeah.
just like
I like that shot a lot. With the birds coming out and the bells ringing.
Yeah. I'm the
Gets a gun out.
Stop this destruction.
We surrender.
Barbarians.
Have some TNT we just found.
That is a fairly barbaric action. I would have to side with the mayor of France in this one.
Come on, man.
Nice. They're they're like circus performers. They have these weird tricks. Oh, still in his suit? No degradation at all to the outfit? Man, you guys could probably fund several years of, just steal some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Look how fat Napoleon looks in this shot. Like, what's going on here?
Napoleon won't take long.
He always was a little short.
Oh, got him.
A-okay.
Two in the box, ready to go. We be fast and they be slow. Oh, they stole their vehicles. You guys got... Man, I thought Zorana put one over on you, but these guys just flat out hustled. They showed up, they schooled you, they stole your stuff, and got out. That's pretty brutal. Poor guys. Wait, sorry. I know there's a lot of pausing in this episode, but Wild Bill is sitting in a hovercraft right now. That detaches. I'm not saying it can carry all four of you, but I am saying don't go down with the ship, my man.
Where are all the other guys? There was like 3 or 4 Havocs, and then
they're inside. They drowned. Yeah. Wild Bill's like, I don't follow hovercrafts. I only take the basket.
That's such a cool plane. I love that design.
Oh, they went underneath the waterfall. That's where you get the special power-ups in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
I wouldn't do that.
Hawk put his goggles on in a blink of an eye. Sci-fi, I want you to put those on. Get my goggles on. He also has this. I mean, later Hawk, V3 Hawk, I think that's right, has an actual huge jetpack. It's like a whole part of his MO. This Hawk is like, I'm gonna make it way less complicated. Has 2 little jetpacks on his hips, which I'm sure wouldn't immediately burn his legs off. It would make me think of that Mel Gibson war movie where that guy's legs, the skin on that guy's legs are just just slide off.
They're actually just 2 liters. He shook them up and...
CoverGirl Roadblock. I would say Footloose, but he was on that Havoc. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be.
Is it main?
Rock and Roll.
Is that?
Maybe Mainframe, although he's drawn very poorly here. I mean, just as a general rule, I know you probably shouldn't stop every frame that has a weird error like this in it, but I don't normally catch them like this, so I'm kind of on point.
Also, we've determined that probably shouldn't leave Dusty in charge of anything.
Yeah, Dusty, you've been demoted. You'll never be in charge of another unit again. We'll put the guy with the freaking racist belt buckle in charge before we put you in charge again. Okay, so great. I know this was a teaser at the end of the last one, but here's the October Guard, and I'm especially excited, Jaron, because we've read the first appearance of the October Guard in 6 and 7. These, they've changed some stuff slightly, as is pretty normal for the cartoon, but here we see Colonel Breakoff driving. There's Diana, and there's Horror Show. I can't remember if the others make an appearance or not, but as a general rule, the other people of the October Guard typically do get sidelined. Even Shreg and I'm blanking on the other guy even now. That's kind of how forgettable they are. They're just like, they're grunt, basically. They just have a very generic soldier outfit, whereas these guys all have personality. Breakoff's kind of a jerk. Diana is a female. Sorry to be like that, but it's the truth. And Horror Show's the grumpy fat dude.
What about Horror Show?
Sorry, I'm going to take another quick step back because I wanted to see if I could see what they were driving. No, you can't. Some kind of red. Obviously, that's because they're from Russia and all their vehicles are red. And it's a 4-seater, so it could be a hiss. You never know. Maybe they'll show that later. I'm really interested in building this checklist of vehicles that didn't get made. And then Super 7 can cut us a fat royalty check when they start pumping them out.
We'll rank them by desirability. They
can bring us on as production assistants, and I'll make sure it gets done. Hey, okay. Could you imagine working for Super 7, and then it'll be like, your one job is to check the details on the amazing stuff that we make? I'd be like, it's probably nowhere near that much.
I'd get fired because I would be like, well, you have to make it with 3 ports, but then when you look at it in a different angle, it has to have 7 ports because that's the way it is in the cartoon.
I would also get fired because they would be like, has anybody seen the prototype Cobra mothership that we put in storage? Daltone, Flit, Recondo, and Lowlight on this team. Got a communications expert on every... Wow, Cobra! This special 3D episode of G.I. Joe. Hey, everybody, it's me, Timber. Thanks for watching.
We expect to reach Vlad Tepes cryptid.
Oh, they did call it Vlad Tepes there.
This whole country reminds me of when I used to take my kids trick-or-treating.
This was brought up on I saw this on the G.I. Joe wiki. Shout out to whoever runs that, because I've never seen them, met them, or talked to them, but they do compile a lot of great factoids there. Sorry, I just looked at the screenshot that I've saved this on, and it's, well, it's Vlad Tepes, that's who. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm getting real sidelined tonight. We skimmed over this in the last episode, but I'm going to double back for no reason. I'm just like picking up the little factoids of these cartoons. At this point, most of us have probably seen them 40 or 50 times. I like thinking about the little stuff. Mainframe says he took his kids trick-or-treating, and that might not seem like a big deal, but it is interesting to know that Mainframe has children back home, even though we never see them, hear of them, or talk about them. In the first episode, when they're busting Beachhead out when they're busting Mainframe out for playing games on the computer, he mentions that he's also served in Vietnam, which is a very rare mention in the cartoon, especially of wartime. In the comic book, it was everywhere, even though they have phased it out over the years. It's become completely unrealistic to think that there are... I mean, my dad was in Vietnam. There's no way... I mean, actually, my dad would probably be on G.I. Joe in a heartbeat because he'll be punching his way through brick walls right up until he dies, I think. But, yeah, they phased out a lot of Vietnam talk, and it's interesting to hear it in the cartoon. It's not referenced very often. Mainframe, that's who, Al.
A great place for a singles weekend, huh, guys?
Flint, you dirty dog.
We take our dates for a swim in the ever-popular Aztec Pool of Death.
All right.
I mean,
let's get in position and wait for Cobra's
I've taken women on way more states than that.
Ooh-wee. This is about the scariest place I ever spent the night. How about you, Lowlight?
Nah, seen a lot scarier.
Lowlight will become a much more used character in season 2, and that's actually, other than when he introduces himself, is one of the few times we've heard him talk. And I'm only bringing that up because Lowlight's voice rules. Charlie Adler doing the voice of Lowlight. Charlie Adler would go on to do the voice of Cobra Commander in the very well-received G.I. Joe Resolute one-shot that Cartoon Network ran. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but you talk about talented voice acting. being able to do that voice, and then probably the best Cobra Commander voice, other than the original, of course, is in that cartoon. In my opinion, it rules. It's so ominous.
Cut the chatter, you guys. Cobra's out there. I can.
All behind Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
G.I. Joe is here, I tell you. I can.
Well, they said the same thing.
Let's bash 'em fast. Swipe Montezuma's CIA and get out of here. That's DNA, you moron.
Montezuma, agent of the CIA.
Situation, brother. Leave.
I like that he
Another
got
great
Montezuma
rare
right.
Xandar shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I love Xandar, man.
You hear something, Dial Tone?
No, I didn't see the man running.
He did see him, but he forgot him immediately. Xandar's special ability. Me, Xandar! I forgot his name already. Oh no, not into the water. That's where dates happen.
Xandar hit him with a RKO.
So glad you could join us.
Whoa, okay, wait, Zartan, come on, buddy. You had him point. I mean, it's like me from here to here, dude. You can't knock him out. This is like the episode of Cobra Winning, and you totally botched it. If you fall in the water, you are on a date, just so you know.
I thought that was a rock.
Jumped in the water for sure. I got a rock. Zartan had, man, I'm nailing the stuff. Zartan looks like his hair is messed up in this shot. He's like, my cow's all frayed. This piece that's coming up, this shot that's coming up, this next, I'm talking like this next 60 seconds on YouTube, which is where we're watching this particular part, is listed as the most replayed shot. It's the shot where sorry, spoiler, they're going to try to hit him with a flamethrower. Please watch this 60-second clip, and you, the fandom, leave a comment and explain to me why. Why is this the most an aggressively most replayed clip as the part of this episode?
The heat!
Nothing like a cherry blaze to warm a Dreadnok's on, eh?
Weird how the fire spreads in this.
Warm, Flint.
Looks like it's time for a little.
Oh, we're all on a date. Whee!
Dalton looks like he does a cannonball and plugs his nose.
Oh, rad. I gotta see that.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like to me.
That is gold, dude. Props to that animator. Like, yes, these guys are all going head first. Dalton's like, I'm not afraid of a little fire, but I really don't like getting water up my nose. I get it, dude. Good catch. So, I'm going to assume that dial tone is not while this is a rewatch clip. I would like to talk about, maybe science people are watching this and thinking, hey, these guys heat up water by shooting in it. Is there anything to that? Can we test that? Maybe they're not maybe they're just shooting to shoot them, and they're putting the water. But again, okay. Regardless, Zartan is suggesting that something they're putting in the water will heat it up, but I don't think that's how fire works. I don't think it heats up the water. Right? It just starts to steam. Again, I really hate laying out how stupid I am about science on here, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to check out. If anything, it'll just give them all perms. Maybe they just watched it a lot because it leads up to the commercial break and they wanted to go have a cigarette or something.
After these messages.
I'm baffled by it. Maybe one person was like, I just love this scene. I'm going to put it on a loop.
It's the one animator who was like, no one's appreciating my genius. I'm trying to call everyone to attention.
So the flamethrower went away in this shot. And also Ripper, I think that's Ripper, in the background doing nothing. I can accept Zartan is like, you guys work for me. Do the thing I said. But then Ripper's standing back here like, yeah, they're doing it. Good job. Yeah, good. Can you shoot a little more? One recipe for G.I. Joe soup.
Keep heating it up. We want to be
I mean, it's literally shooting fish in a barrel, and yet they can't hit anything.
Yeah. The plan isn't to shoot them, it's to boil them by heating the water. They do shoot lasers, so I guess that makes more sense than bullets, but again, still. Sometimes this cartoon is like it is written by the 6-year-old me that was watching it.
Or you're closing that right back up. Just shut.
God, close-up pictures of animals and insects in this show sometimes creep me out and sometimes just crack me up.
Hey, welcome to Montezuma's Revenge.
Wow, that's a lot of skeletons, fellas.
Boiled lobster. Ever again.
Hang on, Zartan! Keep moving or I'll give you a big ugly headache!
Come on, this could work out after
I guess
all.
Monkey Wrench was the one not firing because he's the one that had to go inside. I point out the crap that sucks about this show a lot, and I do it with love because I think it's funny, but I also have got to point out stuff that rules. This rules. This is a really good sketch, the art on this is real solid. The detailing of a skeleton for a children's show is pretty accurate. It is kind of creepy. Not to mention the spider that crawls out of his eye. There are some, this was a show that was produced nonstop. It aired 5 days a week, and there's 60 episodes in a season sometimes. So I understand the shortcuts that would happen in animation, but sometimes, man, somebody was like, "I'm gonna blow some kid's mind with this."
I'm gonna give a kid a complete arachnophobia.
Right? I'm going to torment that child for life. Don't worry about it. I saw Never Ending Story, and I had to watch my favorite horse die, so I'm pretty much immune to this stuff. They really put us through a lot as a kid. Right on the crotch, Zartan. Come on, man. I guess that's where the DNA is stored.
Let's get out of here. I'm not sure I understand what we just saw.
But I liked it.
You'll have plenty of time to explain.
Zartan, buddy, Zartan. Oh my God, you're killing me, dude. Well, what's it going to take for you to shoot someone? I saw you shoot a guy in the eye from miles away in the air. I know you have the skill to shoot one of these guys. I'm not saying you have to kill them. I understand. Shoot them somewhere. Stun them.
Let's play a little game, mates. I go bang, you all fall down.
Okay, wait.
I like games, especially rugby.
Throw a grenade at it. Knocked them all down, running for his life. Once again, foiled by not guns, but Tom and Jerryisms.
Looks like no go, Joe.
That's the interesting thing about the Swamp Fire. There's no verbiage in the toy that seems to specifically link it to the Dreadnoks, but they're always them that's in it. In the movie as well, you see them in it a lot. I don't know why. It is a great vehicle. I do really love it. I feel like it's underused, and maybe that's because it seems to be always attached to them.
Speaking of which,
oh man, Mainframe. Wait a minute. Mainframe, a literal communications expert, has got a radio with a wire on it. But up to this point, we've seen Sci-Fi has a sat phone. Dialtone's whole thing is his backpack with his communicator. I feel like Mainframe is running third place here in communications, even though it's one of his main things.
Way Alpine. Nothing snaky so
far. That's a gun, my man.
What's the word from the other guys?
They're bringing the whole castle down.
Yeah.
After Paris, Egypt, and Yucatan, it's Cobra 3, Joe Nada.
Yeah, man, you guys are not shaping up so great.
Hear something? No. I didn't hear it again, and I didn't hear it coming from downstairs.
You're nuts. The only thing down there is Vlad Tepes' crypt.
There's probably a logical explanation.
Is that what you think Dracula would sound like anyway?
Sure. When they buried him,
I'm pretty sure he says blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
It is coming from the tomb. Then let's check it out.
What do we do? Stay here and guard the remains or follow the Phantom Lady?
Well, Tepe's
Third
ain't going
option,
no
run like
place.
hell.
After her.
What? Yeah, no. This is another great example of do your mission, not some side quest that an NPC gives to you at the last minute. If I was like, oh, hey, I'm supposed to make sure this treasure doesn't get stolen. Oh, but there's a ghost. First of all, if I saw a ghost, my first indicator is never going to be follow that ghost. My first indicator is going to be go the opposite direction of that ghost as fast as possible and never come back to this place.
Cobra needs to just get a full female team, because it seems like that's where the Joes are like, oh, sure, we'll believe you, random lady.
Yeah,
oh,
right?
Look, shiny ghost lady. We're going to follow her instead of doing the one thing we were told that we had to do.
This is like the animated version of the Choose Your Own Adventure books where you always die at the end. They're like, I understand why you guys keep losing.
Man, this is my kind of climate. Why can't they have weather like this down in Waco, Texas?
Face it, Iceberg, you were born in the wrong hometown.
Come in, Duke. General Hawk.
So I waited just a second because I wanted to get this screenshot where Iceberg turns into a white man instead of a black man. This is Iceberg's first appearance in the cartoon, and they obviously did him dirty, didn't they? I wanted to mention that when he says his hometown is Waco, Texas, that's not correct. Technically, on his file card, it says he's from, I'm blanking on the name, but he's from a different hometown altogether. And it is from a similarly like warm place. That's Iceberg's whole thing is supposed to be like he loves the cold, and he like signs up for this type of stuff intentionally.
The word is frostbite, General. My hot cocoa just turned into a frozen popsicle.
Wait till I tell you what Iceberg turned into.
A white man.
Beautiful spring day, yes, Joski? Maybe later with chartreuse ice, go for a swim.
No French people left to watch? What about any Russians? Any Russians out there still watching? All right, take a hike. Cool that they sent the bats here specifically, because the weather would be like the one thing that they would be strong against unless they freeze up. Bats are supposed to be notoriously made very on the cheap. The October Guard was really stunned just then. Don't understand why they have so much trouble blowing up the bats with their guns. This is the second time it's come down to a fist fight with robots, and that's really not going to be the direction you want to go with it, I feel like.
She's going into that room. We've had enough hide and seek. Let's get her.
Don't mind that cell door, those big spikes right above you. Yeah, let's head into this torture room.
What's your plan when you get her?
Man, not American off. Is that any way to treat a lady?
I'm not even going to talk about what nationality Baroness is supposed to be offensive to with her accent. I'm so used to it now. I feel like it's just American but funny. So, and basically you make a great point, Jaron. Basically, another female has put the old dupe over on the Joes with a very simple, not a simple disguise. Whatever she was wearing is like Harry Potter Cloak of Invisibility level. I mean, like, if I had that, I'd be wearing it everywhere too. It's super cool. And then she single-handedly takes both of these guys out. Now, Mainframe I get, because he doesn't even deserve a normal phone. If he falls into that torture device on the back, I'm going to be really happy. Beachhead, on the other hand, we've already established is like our fourth-ranking highest guy on the team. Trains recruits, like that's one of his big things, and he's still getting kicked in the crotch right here. Oh, okay, well, partial credit. I would like to mention that when those stockades fall on Beachhead, they somehow immediately locked. I don't know how that happened, but it's just like, click, all right, you're locked up. Also, Beachhead's arm is somehow not exactly going through the stockade there. It's like it actually got kind of like chopped off a little bit. Either that or it is very flat right now. He's going to pull it out like a Roger Rabbit, and it's just going to be like completely flattened. Okay, well, I guess looks like he's okay on the other side there. I would hypothesize that it looks like Beachhead could pretty easily get his arm back out of that hole. I'm not sure who they were. You're supposed to put your head through the middle, and that's how they get you, right? You can. I mean, your hands are locked up. But anyway, I'm just saying, I'm pretty confident. Secondary option, Beachhead, pull your gun out, shoot the lock off, man. Like, why do I have to come up with all the solutions for you guys? Baroness flips over it. Yeah, see, you could have done that. I mean, you could have also pulled your arm out. But I did want to mention that Baroness flipped over you to just really rub it in on the way out.
Also, that's not how a lock works. That was like one solid plate. It wouldn't have been able to close over.
Very true. There were bars above this door when they went in, and now they're gone. I know that's like, I might as well be playing a Where's Waldo at this point, pointing out goofs. They put it. You think they put a big giant bat? You think they put a big giant bat on Vlad Tepes' coffin? He was probably like, "Oh, I'm dying, but listen, one thing, don't put any Dracula stuff on my coffin. I'm really tired trying to live that down in the afterlife."
I like how he says you can't take both of those, Baroness, but she definitely just did.
She clearly just did, put you guys to shame. Yes, absolutely. There's another vehicle. I think we've seen this or a variation of this before. It's the the little drill vehicle. You know, they had a drill pod type vehicle in the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra movie. I often think about in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, they had drills that the base was underground and they would drill up vertically in these drills. It always makes me think of that as well. These are so silly, but I love them. There is a modern toy that kind of resembles that with the drill.
Quickly, before the other Joes get here.
They left him in goo or something. It was all green. Napoleon was buried in a full outfit and looked fat as hell. But Dracula didn't even put a cloak on him, man. He was butt naked.
They were too busy etching the bat on onto the thing.
Bury me in the buff. I want the Cobras to get a real surprise when they open him up. Was that an eel? Was that an eel piloting that fire bat in the Arctic? It has to be, right? I mean, I guess it could be a severely miscolored AVAC, but I gotta grind a stone on them putting the Joes are perfectly matched. Recondo in the jungle, they got snow guys here in the snow, but Cobra's like, just send anybody, who cares? We're busy. That's definitely an eel. I'm not gonna have to. That's a fight, dude. Oh, okay, sure. Who's buried in Atlantis? Let me get my history book out real quick. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Somebody, I'm gonna tear it apart when they tell me who it is. Oh, it was.
I feel like they should be content with finding Atlantis. Like, that's a pretty big deal.
That's a pretty big accomplishment. Yeah, right. Sorry, we're never going to get through this episode. I could just wait until we're airing it. I'm just noticing that Sergeant Slaughter has grabbed the hologram part of the bats like he would grab a cloth and wad it up, which I think is pretty funny.
It's Dr. Mindbender, all in the next exciting episode of
they're not looking so good. Wait, that's a way better lead-in than they normally are. Like, oh no, Beachhead and Mainframe are going to get crushed by a wall, and then they're like, next time on G.I. Joe, Beachhead and Mainframe are mad because they survived. At least this one's like a cliffhanger within a cliffhanger. All right, time for, I'm assuming it'll be a PSA at the end of this episode because there were in the others. I've said at great length.
Like
how surprised I was to see these. So let's see what we got. Heck yeah. Kid, if you don't know what sunscreen is,
what's
at this age, you're lucky you're not already a boiled lobster.
Want some? Nope. I'm gonna stay out all day and get a great tan.
Yeah.
Look at your back. It's as red as a lobster.
Good thing. Lucky for you, I know a Joe that's soaring off eating boiled lobster.
Next time, use the sunscreen. Wear a hat.
Hey, Stella, what's going on? You looking bacon? It's a lobster, baby.
Listen, I'm sorry, but if some strange guy in a military outfit goes up and talks to two little girls on a beach,
right?
Like, this is not okay. We need a whole nother PSA about how we need to approach these PSAs differently.
Do not only talk to age-appropriate people, especially if you don't have another child with you, and you have a mustache like that. Leatherneck's like, hey, next time you go out... Sorry, I have a different voice for Leatherneck every time I try to do it. Hey, next time you go out, make sure you put on sunscreen. Also, make sure you wear a hat. Also, make sure you wear a full-length jacket. As a matter of fact, make sure all skin is covered by clothing. Why even go out at all? You know, anyway, I gotta go eat a boiled lobster. So that's part 2 of Arise Serpentor Rise. The Cobra has really made they've made some pretty big steps in that episode. If I'm being up front, I'm used to them losing a couple times, but they're basically 4 out of 5 now. So yeah, which I actually like. The other 5 parts we watch, they space out each part, each element is kind of like one episode. But in this one, we have stuff that is still has to happen. The creation of Serpentor and the process of the plot around that. So they have to move a little too fast, if I'm being up front. I don't love that Cobra is able to single-handedly swoop in and be like, nah, we the best. And then you'll watch the next episode, like you'll watch like season 2, episode 6, and it'll be like, Cobra will have the best plan you've ever seen. I'm like, this is stacks up. And then G.I. Joe will be like, oh, we threw a penny in it and it broke it and we win. So it's there's a little inconsistency on how Cobra's plots sometimes develop or how effective they are at executing them, I suppose. We'll be back in 2 short weeks to continue either this or maybe get caught up on news. I'm still unclear where we're headed right now. And I would love to hear from the audience in general about your thoughts on Arise Serpentor Arise. I had asked in the last episode about how you used Serpentor as a kid in your collection, because it was hard to balance him out with Cobra Commander as well. It's one thing to watch a 5-parter and be like, okay, Serpentor's in charge. And then at the end of the season, it basically kind of like everything kind of goes away. And as things moved forward, it was up to you, the kid, the child, to choose who was leading your evil forces and how did they align with one another, because there's so much in-house fighting in the cartoon and the comic. There's really kind of any level of leadership that can be going on at any time. We've seen most Cobras that have a thirst for power have at some point led, even briefly, for a while. So I would love to hear that. You can leave a comment here on our YouTube. You can email us directly at anythingjoespod@gmail.com. You can find us on our Twitter or on our Instagram at anythingjoespod. And I would love to hear feedback from how Serpentor was used in your universe. Your fond memories of playing with Serpentor as a kid, just your overall thoughts on what how did he work out, and at what point did you retire him, or did you ever retire him? Serpentor comes and goes a lot, but there are big windows where he's not around at all. So I'm curious. I'd like to talk to my Serpentor fanatics out there about it. We'll be back in 2 short weeks where anything's available for discussion here on Anything Joes.
Louisiana, love me, baby, Sunbow. Yeah, the hero was me, baby, Storm Shadow. Yeah, that's why y'all fear me, baby. Got a lot of jokes. You got none, come and share me, baby. G.I. Joe, got my comic book, watching cartoon episodes. Watch me going box, dead stock, Jerry on his toes. Watch me going like a whole new world you never know. On my freaking block, Anything Joe.